If you're thinking about moving to Batavia, you don't just want a house, you want the right neighborhood for your money. Because in Batavia, where you choose to live matters just as much as how much you're spending. I've helped a lot of families move to the Chicago suburbs over the years, and as someone who lives here, the first thing every buyer always asks me is, what can my budget get me? So today I'm breaking down the best neighborhoods in Batavia by budget, from entry-level homes to premium communities. And near the end, I'll tell you where everybody secretly wants to live, even if they can afford more. You'll quickly realize Batavia isn't just dots on a map. It's a tapestry of streets with different vibes, different histories, and yes, different price points. Some areas give you walkable downtown access, mature trees, character, big yards, privacy, top-tier schools, proximity to Geneva, St. Charles, and the expressways. But the value equation shifts depending on your budget. So let's break this down the right way, starting with entry-level budget homes and moving on up. This is what I call the best under $450,000, or the Smart Starter first-time homebuyer section. Now, who's this mostly for? It's your first-time homebuyers, people who are starting families, those who want location over size, and they like homes that range from the early 1900s into the 1970s. You'll notice these homes are closer to downtown, usually they're a mile or less, and they range from classic ranches to the traditional mid-1900s two-story homes. They have a ton of character, but they might need just a little bit of upkeep. You're typically going to see less open floor plans, more closed-off traditional homes, unless it's been remodeled recently, and then it'll probably be a little more open. Now, the great thing about this is if you like old charm, this is a great place for you a lot of the time. You'll see mature trees, established streets, shorter commutes to the downtown area and the river, which is basically the heart of this downtown feel anyway. Now, these homes are often 3 bedrooms and 1 to 2 bathrooms with older basements. Now, the basements aren't always livable, but they're really good for storage here. Now, the crazy thing here is it's intertwined in this city with more expensive neighborhoods wrapped right around it, but they all flow seamlessly. It's not a stark contrast, but a melded community. Here's a couple of screenshots of Batavia as a whole and where the homes we're talking about today are selling in relation to the downtown area and the shops right on Randall Road. Now, before we dive into the next budget, if you're thinking of relocating to the Chicago area or the suburbs, this is what I do every single day. So feel free to give me a call right here. And if you want to expand your budget just a little bit more, this next category is probably for you. This is what I call the best of $450,000 to $650,000 budget, or the everyday comfortable zone these days. This is typically for growing families or buyers who want more space and a quality without crazy premium price. People who want character with more modern updates, and most likely a little further from downtown, but not by too much. More often than not, you're looking at homes that were built in the 1980s all the way up to new construction. Now, the 2 new construction communities here are built by Pulte, which is Winding Creek, just west of Randall Road, and Ashton Ridge, just west of 31. Now, in my opinion, I'd rather move to Winding Creek because the community as a whole feels a little bit less crowded, a lot newer. It has way more new development vibe than Ashton Ridge does, because Ashton Ridge is actually in the center of older homes, next to some apartment complexes, and wrapped with some commercial space around it. But I'm going to leave that up to you to decide when you come look at this. The builders as a whole, they do a great job building homes all over the Chicagoland area. Now, if you head east a few minutes there, you're going to be right in downtown. If you head west a few minutes, you're going to be with all the shopping you need and a little more shopping just up the road on Randall and Geneva Commons. Here's a couple of screenshots of where these homes land in Batavia as a whole, and where the homes we're talking about are selling, as in relation to Batavia's downtown and where all the shops on Randall Road are. You'll notice quickly that they are more spread out around Batavia and probably cover the most area of the town. On a map, they're going to look close, but in person, you'll quickly feel a difference in drive time and location from some of these houses. Here's why this budget works so well. You get larger homes, finished basements, 2, sometimes 3-car garages, landscaped yards. This is where practical meets pleasant. They're not too big, they're not too small. It feels just right. Kind of like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, right? Now, if you're looking for something more premium and larger, then this next price point is probably what you've been waiting for. This is what I call premium Batavia living. You're typically going to land in 2 places. I'm going to exclude Winding Creek as we just covered that in the last price point, but we're going to call this the best of $650,000 to $850,000 homes, or Premium Batavia. This is for the buyers who want polish, that upscale feel, not just space, the professionals who want proximity to great schools, and those who host and entertain parties. These homes typically have 3,000 to 4,000 square feet of space plus finished basements. Oftentimes, you're looking at over 5,000 square feet of living space or more. There's two places where you're most likely going to find them. It's either going to be the west side or the southeast side of Batavia. Now on the east side, I'm going to call it Prairie Trails for the sake of not naming every little pocket here. But this again, it's closer to Kirk and Butterfield. It borders North Aurora and Aurora. Now if you're driving down Hart Road, you really won't miss these houses. It'll be unassuming on one side, and then you're gonna look on the other side, and it's gonna be large, extravagant looking homes. Most often you can tell by just driving down the street and seeing these brick and stone facades, you'll know exactly where you are. A lot of these homes were built in the early 2000s, so they're still gonna have the elegance of the hardwood floors, two-story living rooms, beautiful staircases. I call these homes timeless classics. And that's what you experience in a lot of towns around here. Now, if you travel to the west side of Batavia, you'll mostly be looking at Harville Farms or Harville Farms, I'm not sure, and parts of Tanglewood Hills. We'll dive into Tanglewood Hills in the next part, I promise. Now, Harville Farms will have the same feel as Prairie Trails, but you'll end up just a few minutes closer to downtown and to Randall shopping. Now, what you're really paying for in this price point, it's vaulted ceilings, large kitchens, large patios, outdoor living spaces. This tier of homes in these neighborhoods is something you can brag about in the best way possible. Now, here's one curveball for you at this price point. I will say if you're looking for land, you're most likely going to be looking off of Wenmoth, Nelson Lake Road, or Deer Path, and I'll show you that quickly as well. These are usually on an acre or more, well and septic, and they feel more spaced out. Now, from being in many of these homes through my past career, I will say you are close enough to neighbors, but far enough to feel alone most of the time. I've been in many of these homes, and I will say this is what I call my retirement dream. A large open backyard, a patio or enclosed porch, and just some morning coffee. Now, before we hop into the ultra premium neighborhoods, if you're finding yourself having questions about the Chicago market, give me a call here or sign up for my weekly emails where I keep you up to date on the market, local shops, places to check out, and so much more. Now, you've gotten this far and you're probably saying, Jay, I'm looking for ultra premium. Now, when buyers cross that $850,000 mark in Batavia, the conversation's just a little bit different. At this level, it's no longer how many bedrooms do you want? Does it have a finished basement? It becomes about land, privacy, presence, and that long-term value. And in Batavia, two neighborhoods consistently rise to the top, and that's Tanglewood Hills and Barkey Farms. Tanglewood Hills is where buyers go when they want that larger estate-style home, mature trees, the upscale overall neighborhood. The streets, they feel intentionally spaced out. You don't feel packed in. Now, this subdivision is the epitome of what feels like intentional luxury living to me. All the lawns are well manicured. You're gonna see very nice cars here. I see Corvettes and a mixture of things on lifts. Now, I've been in many of these homes and each one of them feels unique in their own way. It's not a cookie cutter neighborhood by any means. Now here, you're typically gonna see fairly large open kitchens and they're gonna feel more high-end custom, as they probably should in this price anyway. You're gonna see large primary suites, and the secondary bedrooms, they're actually really good size too. Finished basements that are gonna feel like entire homes to people. They're that large. This is the neighborhood for buyers who could live in many places, but they choose Batavia because they want the calm, space, and luxury while still being close to everything important here. Now, Barkey Farms is going to be the other place you're going to be looking at. If Tanglewood Hills feels bold from the streets because you see how large the homes are, Barkey Farms feels understated, but very, very elegant. You won't see most of these homes unless you start driving down the street, and then you really get to take in that 2000s architectural style. The brick and stone facades. This is actually one of my favorite neighborhoods to drive through with my wife when we're eating Dairy Queen and wondering, how can we buy one of these? There has always been something about these types of homes that draw me in. When I'm looking for my next forever home, these are the types of homes I'm looking at. These homes, they will always feel like long-term residences and what most people here call a forever home. It's kind of what I call them. And here's the real important thing. You still get easy access to Randall Road, 88, quick drives to Geneva, St. Charles, the Batavia schools, the community. So while a lot of these homes feel private, expansive, you're still never far from anything in the town. Here's what Tanglewood Hills and Barkey Farms share, and why they probably sit at the top. They have larger lots you really can't recreate today, as land is becoming more and more scarce as builders take everything up. The architectural variety instead of these copy and pasted homes, which have become very, very common over the last 10 years. Streets where turnover is rare. You don't see a for sale sign every week in someone's yard. These are where home buyers move in and they stay long term. These neighborhoods aren't about the trends, they're about longevity, in lifestyle, in value, and they stand out no matter what year it is. All right, remember what earlier when I said I would tell you where everybody secretly wants to live in Batavia? Well, it's not the biggest homes, it's not always the newest construction, and it's not always the most expensive neighborhoods. It's the pockets just outside of downtown Batavia, especially near this Fox River. And here's why. You get the walkability to downtown shops, coffee, restaurants, the immediate access to the Riverwalk and the Fox River trails. You get to embrace older homes with character that you don't see today. And here's the interesting part. Many buyers will choose these over the larger homes, newer homes further out, even if it means they get less square footage, an older layout, or just a fewer check the box features. You might be asking why. Because you're buying a lifestyle. You're not just buying a house. You can always renovate a kitchen, finish a basement, but you can't recreate walkability, river access, or the downtown energy. And that's the part people only understand after they live here. And this is where Batavia gets really interesting. Because even at the $850,000 to over $1 million level, buyers here are still paying less than comparable homes in Geneva, St. Charles, or even close to Naperville. Yet they're getting more land, less congestion, and a calmer place to come home to at night. So here's the real insight most videos are skipping. It's just not about the price range you're in, it's about where the budget buys you access to. In Batavia, you don't just choose between downtown convenience, school proximity, the neighborhood character, because it's everywhere here. Your access to highways, and most of all, you get peace. And you get all of them together, no matter where you live here. Here's why it matters. Batavia is one of those few towns that feels still like a small community. It gives you access to the highways, main roads to get around. It puts you in the reach of the metro, but without the premium price tags that come with it. And just when you think moving to Batavia stands alone, it doesn't. Because you're just 10 minutes from Geneva's downtown shopping districts, and it's downtown, 15 minutes from everything St. Charles offers, the riverfront, the shops, everything else. And if you really want to venture to Naperville, you get everything on Route 59 just 20 minutes away. Some people ask, where should I live in Batavia? That's always the question. And the real answer isn't just the neighborhood name. It's what kind of life do you want when you move here? And if you're thinking of moving here, what is the most important to you? Let me know in the comments below. Now before you move here, and you're thinking of spending a day in the downtown Batavia area, make sure you watch my next video where I go over great places to check out, places I frequent almost every week. And I'll see you in the next one.